When we asked Mr. and Mrs. Ray if we could have this event marking the dedication of the program, they consented, but the caveat was, as long as it, quote, is not about them. So there are no awards and no presentations. Mr. Ray did agree to speak, and he will in a couple minutes. But before that, I'd like to say the following. If we would be giving an award to the Rays, we would call it the Roa Es Hanolad Award. The Chazal say that Ezu Chacham, who is a wise person, Haroa Es Hanolad, someone who sees what is to be born. And why does it say that way? Why doesn't the Chazal just say someone who Yodea Sa'asid maybe knows the future? Why does it say Roa Es Hanolad? And I think the possible answer is because by nature people are reactive. We do things when we're forced to. When something happens, then we do something in reaction to it. When we are faced with circumstances that we see something might result, a chacham, someone who is truly wise, is seeing it in front of them. It's roa right now. It's tangible. And therefore he's going to react right now, preemptively. It's this kind of chachamim, these kind of wise people that the Rays are. They were talking about these issues, fighting for them, long before it was fashionable. And sometimes it takes the rest of us a little while to catch up. But when we do, and when we're able to join efforts and bring together all the talent and the resources, then amazing things could happen and lasting change could occur. So Mr. and Mrs. Ray, this event is not about you. It's about the thousands of kids that your generosity and your vision is helping. And not only them, but their generations that are being strengthened. And it's on behalf of all of them that we say thank you. It's now a pleasure to call upon Mr.
Ray. Good morning. Normally when I speak, I usually prepare something. Today I chose not to, primarily because I really don't want to speak very long. It's not necessary. Much of what needs to be said has been said already, certainly in the video. I would only like to share with you that my wife and I have an outlook that sometimes an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, or otherwise known as the other wonderful things we grew up with that nobody talks about any longer is a stitch in time saves 9. And the idea and the concept behind all these things is simply prevention is an extraordinarily important element of what we can do towards solving a certain amount of the problems that we are faced. And if it only means one child out of 1,000 that gets somehow turned on in a way and avoids some of the terrible things that happen later on in life, that alone is worthwhile. And if it's 5, and if it's 10, but it's not just the ones that we read about. And unfortunately, when you reach a certain stage in life and you get old enough, you go through certain stages. There was a stage in the 80s when we were involved in helping run schools, and in the 90s it was high schools. And then later on, when we no longer were involved and the younger people got involved, then we became able, or Hashem, we were given the ability to be able to help support things. Everything has its time. And today, unfortunately, a week doesn't go by that I am not approached about helping pay for someone's addiction, sending them to a place that would be able to help them. And the costs for these items run anywhere between $25,000 and $50,000 a month. That's at the horrific end of what happens. And if you're successful, that's great, and if you're not, then it's really horrific. And unfortunately, we see far too many, as they keep count on an ongoing basis, of children who might have been able to have been helped had they been given the opportunity to be exposed to these ideas and concepts, and maybe been able to call out for help at a time when they didn't think that calling out for help was appropriate. We raise our children in an attempt to be able to put them into a cocoon. We want to make sure that everything is nice and comfy. And on the first day that we send them out to school, and we're all so happy and proud, and the children are excited, and everything is great, and the simcha is everywhere. You can see it, it's right about now. It's happening in hundreds and thousands of households across this country and in Eretz Israel. And then reality comes in. Now, a certain number of children are going to be happy the day they go into school and through the entire schooling experience and through high school and through later on in the early elements of their life, and they'll become productive adults with no intervention whatsoever. And if you are one of those fortunate parents, Tov Allah Bracha, the Rebbeinu Shalom has been good to you, and you've been able to avoid an unnecessary amount of somewhat disappointment, and then ultimately in some areas, heartbreak. I'm not wearing any radioactive. We'll try that. And then there's a certain number of you that the children will be somewhat successful. It'll be a fairly pleasant experience, but not quite what you would like it to be. And they may grow up with a little bit of issues, and then they're going to be some that are going to fall over, and then are going to be those that are going to fall lower than that. Chas v'sholom and chas v'sholom and chas v'sholom. These are the things that we're trying to do. If this program is successful, it will hopefully help everybody on that continuum. And maybe each and every one of the people in that continuum will avoid one step, one madrega. They'll be one madrega higher than they would have been otherwise. And if that worked, it was the best money we ever spent. It is our hope that each and every one of the children in the city of Chicago have the opportunity to have an educational experience that gives them, that they remember with fondness, that they remember in a healthy mode, and they're able to avoid some of the difficulties that face them, because cocoons are great for caterpillars, but they don't work any longer for adults and for children that we are raising. Because no matter how great of a cocoon you think you build, they have figured out a way to penetrate that in the most creative manner possible. And I would think that if they would spend as much time trying to do their homework as they did in trying to figure out how to break out of the cocoon that you created for them, each in their own right would be Einstein. It is what it is. That's what's normal. That is what is the progression of life. We want to help them. Nothing would make us happier than to see them smile. So it is our great pleasure. We only hope that one thing happens, that the schools embrace the program, and more importantly than the schools embrace the program, the parents understand it, work with their children, accept it, talk about it, not under cover of darkness in the hidden dark room somewhere, but come to understand that it is only through communication, through education, through the resources that are being given to you, that your children have an opportunity to grow into healthy, normal, happy adults, which is what we all want and wish for each and every one of you. Thank you.